And then there we go. So recording missed the introductions, but everyone else live on Facebook had the opportunity to hear. So Brian, I'm going to start it with you. We're just going to go over some questions today just to help everyone out there kind of get a little bit better understanding of what Maxwell is about. And spoiler alert, there is going to be a huge special announcement at the end of today that actually is going to be just a few minutes before it goes live to all of the other associates. So if you're actually watching, you'll get a chance to learn. Okay, so Brian, I'm going to start with you. What does Maxwell, how does Maxwell bring support? How's it growing? Where's it started from? Can you give a little bit of a history about Maxwell?
Well, Maxwell started in 1999. Two visionary real estate professionals in Calgary decided that they were going to break free of the traditional model of real estate, and they were going to start something totally different and totally new, focused primarily on the culture of a brokerage and more specifically the family culture of a brokerage.
Focused primarily.
So the reason why that's important, of course, is
the culture of a brokerage and
I'm getting some feedback here. Are you getting that?
The family culture.
So I'll just stop.
So the reason why that's important, of course, is
I made the mistake of clicking on the Facebook Live while you were talking.
Oh.
So, and I didn't mute it. So I'm going to go back and, sorry for interrupting you. I'm going to go back, but I'm going to actually mute it. I can't mute it once it goes. So I have to just watch. So continue. Sorry, MaxWell Devonshire, MaxWell Realty, visionaries.
Yeah, so I'll just rehash what I said there. In 1992, two partners got together and decided they were going to start MaxWell Realty based on a culture of family and support. And really what put Maxwell on the map really was training. These two, both Ron Sanders and Dick Oakes, they got together and decided that what the industry was really lacking was camaraderie amongst agents, for one, but also just professional standards overall. And they decided that they were going to have an in-house training center, which at the time was not a commonplace thing, and that they were going to create a real estate company that is really very different from what was currently available at the time. So in 1999, when they first launched, they became quickly one of the fastest growing real estate brokerages in Calgary. And now we fast forward to about 21 years later, and we are the second largest real estate franchise company in Alberta. So we're pretty excited about that level of growth, and our commitment really to maintain those connections from a community standard, as well as that culture within our network and our network of brokers, has been really paramount as far as what we were trying to accomplish all those years ago. One of the things that I would say that probably sets us apart significantly from our competition is our commitment to the technological aspect of real estate. Obviously, real estate is changing. It has been changing for a number of years, and we've devoted a lot of resources and a lot of brain power to coming up with new technologies that help the agent do what they do best, which is go out there and make relationships, long-term relationships with clients, and sell real estate. And all the rest of that stuff we can help with. We can help with marketing. We can help with mobile apps. We can help with testimonials. All of those types of things we can help with, and those are the things that we bring to bear upon the agent environment, so that the agent can go out and really do what they are best at, rather than spending hours sacrificing their time to building a feature sheet. We can help with that. We can take care of that, all complementary to our system. So
cool. Dragic, I know you came from a national brand. What was the importance of coming to not only the second biggest franchise in Alberta, but one that is looking at expanding? Why was that important to you?
I was looking for something that I kind of identified with more, and something that provided more support and also technology behind the scenes. And with Maxwell, I kind of get all of that. Like, how many times I've called you and to just chat about different things, and you always picked up, or you gave me a call back as soon as you were available, which is great. That kind of support is really important. And we live in a technology driven world, and Maxwell is right up there with when it comes to technology, offering so much behind the scenes that people don't even realize.
Nice. And Michael, when you were making the decision between brokerages, was provincial and local presence important to you?
Yeah, being Canadian owned, being locally created right here in Alberta certainly was a bonus. Another big factor for me was the brand. I was looking for something with a brand, but I was also looking for something that had a family atmosphere. And this Maxwell was like a perfect balance between those two, sort of corporate culture and family business, which I've really enjoyed.
Well, then continuing down that, what were you looking for specifically in a brokerage?
Well, okay, so there was brand as far as recognition. I interviewed a variety of different brokerages. I went to the sort of the bigger international brokerages. I went to obviously to Maxwell. I spoke with yourself and with Brian. I spoke with some of the smaller boutique brokerages as well, and certainly all had something of value to offer. Maxwell seemed to have a blend of all of that. I was looking for recognition. I was looking for support. As a brand new agent coming in, I was very aware that I don't know what I don't know. So being in a brokerage that I felt comfortable was going to help fill in those gaps for me, support me, give me that education, give me that training and direction, instead of sort of being like, hey, thanks for signing up, go sell homes, right? Another big part for me was the recognition that I'm not a marketing expert. So I was looking for support in the marketing side of it, where that was a big piece from Maxwell's side, and Brian touched on it as far as the technological side. Having the support to be able to quickly and easily generate branded marketing that I didn't have to put a whole ton of time or effort or thought into, so that I could focus my energies on what I do best, which is working with people and helping them.
Cool. Dragic, I'm going to bring it back to you. When you were looking, because Maxwell wasn't your first brokerage, so when you were making the decision, what were you looking for in a brokerage when you were potentially looking at making a change?
Well, if you remember when we met first, I wasn't really looking at that time on changing a brokerage. But I decided to meet up, and then after our first conversation, I realized that this is actually potentially a great fit that's going to allow me to grow, grow my own brand, and also helping grow the Maxwell brand as well. So that's one of the things that I saw. It was really set up for the agents to succeed, and that was huge. It was really different in that aspect to the brokerage that I came from, and also to other brokerages. I spoke with a couple of other ones as well.
And Brian, I'm going to toss it over to you now, because you were a huge part of this. The new brand, how has that changed the perception of Maxwell and the overall feel within the company? As well, what all went into making the decisions to pick what we picked?
Wow, that's a loaded question, and certainly I could talk about that for a long time. It was a very, very long process. It went on for many months of active engagement with a local branding and marketing firm here in Alberta. And we had just so many hundreds, maybe thousands of hours of consultation with them because what we were really concerned about is that, we had built up a lot of brand equity in the Maxwell brand already at the point when we decided to do that, to do the brand change. And we didn't want to lose that. So to go with something totally new, you always risk the chance that the consuming public will not recognize the new thing is related to the old thing. So so one of the things that we were really careful about is the logo. We spent a lot of time trying to figure out how we were going to modernize the logo without losing that same brand connection with the consuming public. And that's what we ended up doing, is really working on something that was going to connect back to what was familiar, that great brand equity that had been developed in marketplaces all across Alberta. I think we're represented in over 40 communities in Alberta with offices. And that's one of those things that we were really concerned about. So when we came out with that new brand, we decided what we wanted was something that was going to be really connected to the previous brand logo, but also something that is really modern, easy to reproduce as far as printing capabilities, and something that would really stand out from everyone else. And I think that's what we've created. Of course, I'm biased, but I think that's what we've created in the new Maxwell logo refresh. And then we took it one step further, and we looked at all of the different pieces that tie into that brand. So it's not just about a logo, but it's also about the colors that are appealing to consumers when they're thinking about real estate, things that are going to stand out in our 4-season climate. Obviously in Alberta, we've got 4 seasons. All over Canada, we've got 4 seasons. So we needed something that was really going to pop. And then lastly, we wanted something like, for example, in a lawn sign that would stand over against all of the other brands. It's a crowded marketplace in most real estate demographics, and we wanted to take what we thought was our final design. We ended up with about 8 different designs in the end of different lawn signs, colors and formats and things like that. And then we started to place them in situ with other brand signs so that we could see, are they different enough? Are they, is our sign really going to stand out in the marketplace? And I think what we ended up with is a sign that's classy. It connects back to our brand, our core brand elements, and something that is really modern and new and fresh. And that's, one of the big parts of that whole process was we were continuously going back and focus group testing with different demographics and different markets. So one of the big ones that we really put quite a lot of weight on was the university and college demographic. We had a group of college and university students in various levels of their education, and we would just place our ideas before them once we had sort of finalized on a couple of the key decisions, and say, what resonates with you? You're the up and coming generation. You're the generation who's going to be feeding the real estate market for the next several decades. What is appealing to you? And that's, that was their input was really invaluable to this whole process, because we wanted to make sure that we weren't just relying on, making decisions in a bubble, for example. We wanted to make sure that everybody had that input. And I can honestly say we haven't had any negative comments right across the board. We expected some pushback because the brand was so recognizable, but it's been excellent. Everybody right across the board has just sent so many congratulations and nice words about all of the things that we've done as far as the brand recognition. So like I say, of course, I'm a bit biased, but I love it. I think it hit the mark 100%.
Well, I'm going to pass it off to Dragic and Michael now, because one of the other important pieces is to make sure that the real estate professionals representing that brand also have the confidence in it and appreciate the changes that were made. So, Michael, I know you were just you joined the brokerage just before the new brand was launched, and Dragic, you joined we had spoken originally under the old brand, and then you had made the switch over under the new brand. So I'm just going to throw it out to both of you at once, just to kind of give your thoughts about the new brand versus the old brand.
Go ahead, Michael.
Okay. So for me, Alex, as you know, I was certainly looking for brand recognition, but I was not, I wouldn't say I was a fan of the old brand as far as the look and the color. That was something that I wasn't too crazy about, and I think I had even expressed that to you early on. But with the new branding that has come in, it's like night and day. It's been absolutely fantastic. I enjoy it. I think it's crisp, it's clean, it stands out, and it's something that I love. Like I'm proud of having this branding and representing this branding. So I couldn't be happier with it.
Nice. Dragic?
Yeah, I think it looks great actually, and I actually didn't mind the old branding either. I think it stood out. I think it's important when you're you're driving down the street and you in the distance you see a sign, you can kind of identify a brokerage just by the colors that you see, and you had that with the old branding, but it's also here with the new branding as well, and I think it just looks more modern and it looks more appealing to the eye. It definitely stands out, and for me, it's been very well received by my clients that decided to switch over and relist their properties when I made the switch. They all commented that it looks much better, and they were really happy with it. So I think it's great actually.
Nice. Now I'm going to throw this back to you, Dragic. As you're the newest, so you haven't had the biggest opportunity yet to fully dive into all the tech, but you mentioned it earlier. So what's your favorite piece of Maxwell technology?
Oh, it's the app. I use it, and I've started passing it out to my clients, and they're using it. They love the fact that they can, send me a quick message or, the listing that they're interested in. They just send it to me, and it comes to me by either email or text, and I can reply directly from there. And it's just it's great. It's easy to use, and it's a very polished app. I have a friend who's really tech savvy, and he installed it the other day on his phone, and he actually made a post on Facebook recommending it. So it's an amazing piece of technology.
And the best part is, now that he recommended it, it's still going to be tied to you.
Exactly.
So
yeah, it's tied. So yeah, it's whenever somebody shares the app, they share your link. So any question that somebody might have about a listing, it comes to you.
Yeah, perfect. Michael, what's your favorite piece?
Well, I mean, I could go on and on about the app and how much I love it, and I'd certainly echo Dragic's sentiments towards that. But I feel like I should speak to something else as well. And I have to say a big part of this has been Max Central, and there's so much to Max Central that I mean I could talk for probably hours about the different ways that it's helped me, but in particular, I'll touch on.
So I'm going to interrupt you. Can you explain what Max Central is for those that don't know what it is?
Yes, sure. So Max Central is sort of the agent's behind the scenes hub to all things Maxwell, is the best way I can describe it. But some key elements to it are the website was a big one for me. I'm not a web designer. I don't want to be spending a whole lot of time designing and developing a web or spending a whole lot of money on it. And Max Central makes that incredibly easy for me to have a good, clean, branded website that I can personalize and customize as I go. And I've been able to do that. It's really easy to work with. And then the branding, brochures, handouts, letters, templates, all of that is there for me. And I can just tweak it and personalize it. I don't have to reinvent the wheel, which is awesome.
Nice. Brian, I'm saving you for last because you are kind of the father of most Maxwell tech. So what is your favorite piece and what are you most proud of?
Well, I'm proud of all of it. I think we've been really specific in selecting the type of technology that agents want. We understand there's a lot of providers out there. There's a lot of third-party providers that agents can go to, but we wanted a place where agents could go to where they know that everything that they need in order to be successful in real estate is provided at a Maxwell Brokerage through Max Central. And that really is a big part of sort of our, if you want to call it our secret sauce, is like Mike had mentioned, Max Central is the grand central station for all things Maxwell. And we've put our corporate partnerships there. We've put our approved suppliers. We've put Maxwell branded market stats. We've got just tons and tons of information and opportunities that exist in Max Central. But I think if there's one thing that I'm really proud of and is really probably one of the most used technologies that we have, I would say, is probably what we call eFlow. We affectionately refer to as eFlow, which is our email campaign system. And the way that works is we've got pre-written copy and pre-written photographs that are already produced, and professional photography for newsletter campaigns, for buyer campaigns, seller campaigns, holiday campaigns, all of the different things that you would use as a real estate agent just to keep in touch with your client. Now, it's not the be all and end all, but it's sort of that piece that fits in the gaps of your business. So obviously relationships are huge, and that face-to-face, voice-to-voice relationship is enormous. But what often gets forgotten by most real estate agents is in between the transactions, in between those personal interactions. It's easy for us to get forgotten. In fact, a recent NAR study showed that 80% of respondents said that they would use the same real estate agent again. And what turns out is in that same survey is that 20% of respondents actually used the same real estate agent again. And what's the disconnect? That disconnect is that those agents are struggling to keep in contact with those agents in between personal transactions. So we thought if we can fill in those cracks, if we can fill in those gaps with something that is so simple, all you do is upload your contacts, literally press start. And it's running all year long. You're touching base with your clients, your face, your branding, your, some little piece of information that's going to be valuable. All of that information is automatically there. Plus, if you wanted to take it to the next level, you can customize, you can build your own campaigns, you can do all that on your own. That's one of the things probably that has been very, very helpful for a lot of our associates. I see what you're showing on the screen there is our brand new print shop. We just launched that last week. And the Maxwell Print Shop is another one of those incredible corporate partnerships that we have made with an enormous company, Vistaprint Corporate Solutions. And they've partnered with us in order to create a print shop that is really simple to use, really great value and customizable stuff. So if you want to have a notepad, or you want to make a banner or a flyer or something like that you just want to be able to plunk in your information, brokerage name, agent name, phone number, whatever, you can actually customize what has already been approved branding from corporate head office. So some pretty neat stuff in the print shop. And of course that it just launched last week. So we've got I can't remember, somewhere around 200 or 250 SKUs. We intend, in order to advance that, as we get more enhancements and feedback from our membership. So just another example of some of the many things that we're working on. We don't like to just sit stagnant. In fact, that part of that maybe is my own character flaw. I can't just sit back and be happy with the things that we already have. Either we have to take the things that we have and make them better, or we got to find new stuff and fill in new challenges as the market is fluid and continues to grow.
Yeah, I was just trying to show everyone what everyone was talking about for Max Central there, and there's just so many more pieces to it than we only have 3 people, so we could only really talk about 3 different spots. So wanted to take everyone through a little tour.
Thanks for doing that, by the way, because there's actually a few things in there that I hadn't seen before, so I got to go back in there and take a look at more of it.
It's always changing.
I know, it's incredible. There's always new stuff in there.
I was surprised almost not to see a coming soon, because there's always another coming at the bottom. So you're caught up to date right now, Mike. So when you go in, at least you'll see everything that's going to be right now. One of the most important things when anyone is kind of making a decision about where to go or what the next steps for them is culture. So Brian, I'm going to ask you, how would you define the culture of MaxWell Realty? And then I'm going to ask Dragic and Michael the same question and about how they've found the culture since joining, and just kind of go with that. So, Brian?
Well, if I could put it sort of succinctly, obviously it's a complex question, but if I could put it very succinctly, I would say a culture of mutual aid and respect, I think, is probably what we most try and foster. And that really starts from the top down. So we've got a tight knit team here at headquarters. We're headquartered in Edmonton, Alberta, and we've got a tight team here that works closely together. There's a lot of overlap in the things that we do. Everybody's helping out in every place, and that's really important. But as you sort of move down the chain, you look at our franchise partners, our brokers, our managers. We have regular meetings, both regional meetings of those broker managers and also national or all broker. We call them all broker meetings. So all of our brokers and managers will get together twice a year and just, oftentimes it is really like, having a meal around the table with the family. There's laughing, there's joking, there's always, that crazy uncle that, I think we call him Uncle Alex. No, I'm just kidding. But there's that, it really is that kind of a feeling. Everybody is feeling, like not threatened. There's not the anxiety that somebody's looking to steal your business, or you've got some trade secret that you can't pass on to anybody else. And there's a lot of sharing of failures and successes that really helps to sort of knit that broker group together. And of course, it really helps us, from a corporate level, that we're not insulated from the street level agent who's doing that business right down there in the nitty gritty, face to face with real people. So that really does help us out quite a lot. And it is that sort of culture of mutual respect for each other. I can honestly say I've never felt in my entire career with this group that I've ever had to worry about somebody not getting my back. I mean, we work together. We're legitimately friends. There's a lot of laughter. It's a good time. And I think that when it starts from the broker level and from the corporate level, it really does sort of filter down and funnel down into the agent level. But I'll let you guys speak to that.
Yeah. So talking about at the agent level, Dragic, what are your thoughts?
It definitely feels like a family atmosphere, and it doesn't feel like this huge corporation, which is a great thing. Like in my past careers, I've been part of large organizations, and here it's different. I always feel like I can approach anybody and it's going to be well received, like from yourself, Alex, and then I've spoken with Brian and Bill as well multiple times, and it just feels like everybody's kind of on the same level and nobody's treated like they don't belong. So it's I felt like I fit in from basically my first minute at the brokerage. Didn't feel out of place at all. And I've met a few agents now. I've been here a few months. I've talked with a few, and it's just been an amazing experience.
Nice. Well, welcome, Mike. Oh,
for me, I've been really, and it's sort of a double-edged sword for my background, because I've been really blessed to work for some fantastic companies over the years with incredible culture as far as support and connection and development and all of those things, and sort of a balance between corporate and professionalism, and also just having fun in what we're doing. And so that worked against me in the sense that as I was considering this career change, I mentioned before, I don't know what I don't know. So coming in as a real estate agent, I had a preconceived notion about real estate in general, and being sort of a dog eat dog world, and you got to watch your back, and everybody's sort of working against each other. But I also had this fear of losing that element of support when you're working for a company that has all of those things in place, and you're literally, say, working for, and I can't stress that enough, but in a company and you're there, but everything else is being done sort of for you. Whereas coming into real estate, the fear was, I'm kind of on my own, and will that support be there? And are the other agents, even within the brokerage, going to be supportive, or am I going to be sort of in shark-infested waters, so to speak? I had a good sense before making the decision, obviously, but coming in, wow, I couldn't have been further from the truth, and a lot of those fears were certainly unfounded. Every agent that I've met through the brokerage has been incredibly supportive, above and beyond anything that I ever would have even hoped for, in the sense of offering themselves up as far as answering questions, giving me guidance, walking me through. There was just an agent recently. We were in one of our weekly meetings, and that agent was speaking, and so that her image came up on the screen, and I saw behind her she had a whiteboard that she had been working with, and I just recently put up a whiteboard in my already cluttered office, and I private messaged her. I was like, "Hey, is that a whiteboard?" And she's like, "Yeah." And I'm like, "That looks really organized. Like that's I like what you've got set up there." She was like, "Oh, I can walk you through it. Do you want some help with figuring out how to use yours?" And I'm like, "I'd love that." And that same day, she reached out. She walked me through it. She FaceTimed with me, and there was no, like you said before, Brian, like trade secret that was being held back. It was just let's all build on success together, and make it a better experience for our clients ultimately. So the culture has been fantastic.
So then, continuing down that path, Michael, how does the brokerage support you then? Not only does your fellow associate help you, but how does the brokerage then provide you support? Dragic, I'll then ask you the same thing. And then Brian, I'll ask you more, how does corporate headquarters support the brokerage so the brokerage is able to support its agents better?
Well, I could go on. It's funny, each one of these questions could almost be a webinar in itself. First and foremost, Alex, from the brokerage level, it's you. Your level of support that you give myself and all of the other agents that I've spoken with has been absolutely stellar. I think it's even trickled out to helping other agents in the industry that aren't even with the brokerage, just through indirect contact. You're constantly there. You're always available. I can call you, I can text you, I can message you at pretty much any time, and you've always been there to walk me through things and help me, even as far as brainstorming and building ideas on direction and how and where to go. Brian is incredibly supportive in all the work that he does. We don't have as much direct contact, but certainly the work that he's doing has an impact on me almost daily. Angela's another one who's been a huge part for me early on, as far as the training that I've received from her, and the support that she's given in as far as teaching me a lot about the technologies that Maxwell does.
And sorry, just to stop, Angela is with headquarters. She is in charge of training and development, and as well as social media and all that sort of stuff.
And then as far as even like a more structured thing, I come from sort of a philosophy of lifelong learner. I'm always wanting to learn new things. I'm always wanting to challenge existing ideas and beliefs. So the fact that I have full access to Richard Robbins. I have access to ninja training and ninja groups where I can go in and I'm welcomed again by these experts at what they do. And me as a rookie coming in, and they're inviting me to the table and sharing with me all of their wisdom and ideas, that's invaluable to me. And I don't know of another brokerage out there that has this level set up for their agents to be able to tap into that kind of expertise.
Well, thank you. Dragic, how does the brokerage support you?
You know what, I pretty much what Michael said. Like I said before, how many times did I text you and call you at different times of day, and you're available, you pick up or you call me back. Same with Brian as well. And then, but also the technology, it makes my life as an agent easier. when I can rely on that technology to do something that would usually take me, let's say half an hour, that I can do in 2-3 minutes by just a couple of clicks. And here's my new listing posted on Facebook. Here's a paid ad set up. Here's a website set up for a brand new listing. That kind of stuff. And also, Richard Robbins International Training, which is at Devonshire, it's available for free. It's another huge thing where, if you have some downtime, you can just fire up the training and basically grow and improve as an agent. And I think it's something that's passed down from franchise to the brokerage, and then to the agents, and from us to our clients. It makes us better agents to our clients.
And Brian, how does headquarters support its brokerages? And then I'm going to actually chirp in on this too, because as a broker and a franchise owner, I have my own perspective on being the intermediate between the two.
Yeah, I think what they've touched on there is that sort of top to bottom chain from one end to the other in our organization. But I think there would probably be two main things that we really focus on, and of course there are several others. But the two main ones are, first and foremost, we try really hard to maintain a very flat corporate structure. And what I mean by that is we are accessible by anyone in the organization. An organization that has nearly 1,000 agents across Western Canada, that's not always an easy task. However, we really try hard to make sure that there is no chain of command, as it were, that has to go through in order to get to Bill or myself. Bill Terabane is our president, obviously, or any of our management staff here at head office. There's no middle managers that you have to get through, or you have to make sure that you talk to your broker before you talk to anybody else, or any of those types of things. We really try hard to maintain that flat structure. And one of the main reasons for that, of course, is the key to some of these technologies that we've been able to launch is that direct feedback from agents and brokers coming directly to us. Without filter. Oftentimes, these things come, in a moment of clarity during one of our broker meetings, where somebody says, what we should do is this possible, or whatever the case may be. And then we'll sort of take that and we'll beat it around at corporate, and then next thing you know, we're launching the Maxwell Print Center, for example. So those are the types of things that happen. The second thing that I was going to mention is the Maxwell University. This is something that has probably been one of our more successful initiatives over the past year or two. In fact, prior to COVID-19, it was sold out, I think, for 3 or 4 months. And that Maxwell University is sort of our full training program on all things that Maxwell offers to agents in order to make you successful as an agent. And it's one thing to say, hey, we've got all this stuff and you should use it. It's a sort of a level higher to say, this is a demonstration of how all of these technologies work. And then we've sort of, at the Maxwell University, take it one level higher still. And that's, by the time you leave Maxwell University, you've got those technologies working. You've actually put your clients in. It's a hands-on workshop type of environment, small class sizes, and it's working step by step through each of those situations. So we know you've got the app. It's on your phone. It's branded to you. You've been able to log into the dashboard and do all your settings. You've been able to upload your contacts for eFlow, and on and on and on. Those are the types of things. So it's one thing to know that the technology exists. It's a whole other thing to be using it, and to be using it by the end of that class. So that has really been a big piece of the puzzle for us as far as getting agent engagement in the technologies and the tools themselves.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought that one up, because that was going to be one of the ones that I was going to say is, as a broker owner, has been one of the biggest pieces, and that was just introduced this year. So that was fantastic. The other thing I really want to touch on is Maxwell is all about learning and being able to provide more stuff to its agents. So during COVID-19, we just didn't stay by the wayside and be like, oh, well, people are stuck at home. It's like, well, if people are at home and they're going to be able to study and do more webinars and stuff, let's get the sales representative specialist course. Let's make it available online, right? So we came up and we spoke with Encompass, and we created a program with them exclusive to Maxwell agents for them to go through it. Same with the investing, same with the accredited buyer's representative. These are all programs that we were working with Encompass to be able to deliver to our agents during a time. And we were able to pivot just like that and make it possible. So that's one huge thing. The other big thing is a bi-weekly webinar through Dan Wood. Again, exclusively available to Maxwell agents, and it goes over all of his different trainings. And if you don't know who Dan Wood is a phenomenal online lead generator, marketer, and just his ability to connect with people using the new systems of the world is incredible. Like, I can't even describe it. He blows me out of the water. But it's available to any Maxwell agent that wants it. So just those two things alone, I think, are really important because they flow through the brokerage down to the agent, but they were meant for the agent and being a very agent-centric company. Speaking of being agent-centric and the support of agents, Dragic and Michael, do you guys get leads from the brokerage?
Definitely, on a daily basis, actually. Anywhere from a couple to a few leads come in, and they are actually, most of them are good leads that you can reach out to, get in contact with, and set up appointments and meet.
Well, we were just speaking just before we went live that you're meeting with one tomorrow that's looking at doing a buy and a sell.
Exactly, yeah, in Leduc.
Yeah, perfect. Michael?
I'm doing a few showings this afternoon with somebody who I met, reached out to me just over the weekend here. That was through the brokerage lead system. So yeah, I get leads and they are good quality.
That's awesome. And
Yeah.
Brian, I'm going to ask you to speak specifically to the leads generated through the app, and then as well how kind of the leads work through the giant corporate Maxwell site, and then how those can filter down to the agents for them to also benefit from them.
Yeah, those are two big topics. So the first one, to speak to the app, that the Maxwell app was specifically designed to be branded to the agent, the individual agent. Once they've branded that app to themselves, and by the way, it's totally complementary to our system, doesn't cost the agent anything in order to have that technology in their pocket. They brand that app to themselves, and then every future time that it's either shared by them or one of their consumers, that app is downloaded from either the App Store or the Google Play Store as their app. They don't have to select them as an agent or try and find them in a list. Automatically that app comes in. So there's this mushrooming effect of, apps that are out there that you may not, as an agent, may not even know that you're in the pocket of people all across Canada who are searching for properties that are part of this network of, hey, we love this app. Hey, you should try this app. And the great part about that is anytime anybody looks at a property on your app anywhere in the country, they have a question about a showing, which can lead to a referral or a direct transaction, or they just have a question about it. It gives you the opportunity to handle that yourself. So there's this sort of vast and growing lead generation network through the app for those agents who are successfully using that in their business. So those leads are funneled directly down to the agent as an instantaneous lead generation system. So that's one really cool part. As far as the website, so we actually partnered with Real Estate Webmasters, one of the premier, if not the premier, real estate web provider worldwide, and they're based out of Nanaimo, BC. So again, that 100% Canadian culture, we really try and focus in on that as much as is possible on our end. We created something with them, which is the first time they've ever done it in their history, and that was an enterprise solution which allows not only our corporate site to be a Real Estate Webmasters site, but also all agent sites at an extremely affordable price. So the advantage is you as an agent can have a Real Estate Webmasters website at an extremely affordable price, and all of that the lead flow that comes in from our Maxwell website, which is sort of the giant footprint, and that, you know, there's a lot of organic traffic, there's a lot of traffic coming through maxwellrealty.ca, and that flows down to our agents and our brokers, and that's through actually a fairly advanced lead routing logarithm, which basically will funnel it directly to the area where you're located. Or if you have a personal agent website, it also has a very high organic SEO footprint, because you're connected to our sort of bigger network. So the back end of those REW websites, real estate webmaster websites, also come complete with the full lead generation CRM. So you are free to go and, you know, do your own pay-per-clicks or Facebook ads or whatever to drive traffic in. But once that traffic arrives at your website, you have the ability to really capture that lead and work that lead on behalf of your own personal agent website. So nowadays, you know, people aren't looking you up in the yellow pages. If somebody says, hey, you should use Dragic or you should use Mike, then the first thing that consumer is going to do is go pull their phone out of their pocket, go to Google, and find out, are these people any good? And that first impression, you know, the old adage, you never get a second chance to make a first impression. That first impression is key as to whether or not they are going to feel comfortable to call you. So very, very crucial to have something that's really user friendly and well presented on the web.
So we have time for one last question, and it's going to be, what's your favorite part of being with Maxwell and MaxWell Devonshire Realty? So Dragic, you're the newest one to the team, so I'll get you to start.
You know what, pretty much all of that I've said already, but I love the fact that I'm part of something more local, something that is on a provincial and national, but not international level just yet. And kind of, it gives me the chance to help it grow and contribute in my small part to a local brand that's already grown to be the second largest kind of locally here. And just, you know, the family atmosphere that we've talked about, the support, the technology, it all adds up to a great package, and it's really worth it for agents who are maybe considering a change, or new agents who are getting into the industry to look up Maxwell, because they'll be impressed by what's here.
Michael, what's your favorite part?
You know, we've got the branding, we've got the technology, we've got the support, we've got the training, we've got all of those things that we've been talking about for this past hour or so. But none of it means a thing. None of it matters. None of it goes without the right people. And for me, it's the people. That starts with you, Alex, and that goes right through the office people, the people who support us there at the front desk, the people at corporate level like Brian, and the other agents that are a part of this team and this family. It's like I said, I've had the good fortune of working for a lot of great companies with a lot of great people, and this is right up top with some of the best that I've ever been a part of. So that's my favorite part, is the people that are here.
That's awesome. And Brian, I know you got a lot that's your favorite, but what's your favorite part about being with Maxwell?
I think I have to echo the sentiments of Mike and just say it's those relationships. I mean, people is what drives us forward. You know, it's that sharing of ideas, and you know, none of us can really advance on our own. But it's all of us putting our shoulder to the same harness and pulling in the same direction. Dragic, you know, made a statement to the same effect, that we're all working together, we're all pulling together, and in order to do that, there has to be that mutual respect and that, you know, that camaraderie and that relationship building. And I think we've done a successful job of that over the years, and it's our intention to maintain that and keep it going, because that is really what makes us strong ultimately, is the strength of us in numbers, and the strength of us as those relationships are sort of knit together, and that camaraderie and sharing of ideas. That really is what keeps us strong.
Thank you, Brian. My favorite part is our opportunity. I think we have opportunity to grow. We have opportunity to learn. We have opportunity to really take the Edmonton market, because that's where we are, and the Lethbridge market where we also are, and the Calgary market where we also are, by storm, and really grow this into other provinces, because I think other provinces could really benefit from our culture and our people, just to echo what everyone else has been saying. But that brings us to an end. So if there's any last final thought that you just wanted to say before we finish today, please say it now. Otherwise, I want to thank you all for your time. Thank you to everyone that has been watching for the past 56 minutes. It's been a pleasure to be able to explain a little bit more about Maxwell to you and have you join us. So I'll leave it open to you guys. Any last words?
I'd just like to make a quick announcement, Alex. I know
Oh,
that
right.
we had an opportunity to pass some secret information to our brokers on Friday of last week. But we are a proud member of the Canadian Franchise Association. So as a member of the Canadian Franchise Association, we were really, really pleased and honored and proud to find out that we were going to be the recipients of not one, but two franchise award honors from the Canadian Franchise Association this year. So for 2020, we're the Canadian Franchise Association Awards of Excellence winner for silver category. So we're silver right across the country for, and that's just not just real estate franchises, that's all franchises. We won silver Canada-wide. And the second award that we got, which maybe even is more important in my view, is we have won the 2020 Franchisees Choice Award, and that actually is based on an independent third-party review and a survey of all of our franchise partners across Canada, and those franchise partners, their responses to that independent review gave us the honors of becoming the 2020 Franchisees Choice for the Canadian Franchise Association. So we're really pleased that not only, sort of a jury of our peers, but also internally our own franchisees and our broker partners have voted to say that we are, what we have always believed that we are. We're better together, and we're growing together, and these are the types of things that just sort of validate that we're on the right path and we're pulling in the right direction. So thanks to you guys as associates, and anybody who's watching out there in Maxwell land. We recognize that this is not possible without you guys, but also same thanks to our franchise and broker partners. You guys are doing the real hard work on the ground and helping Maxwell to grow. So that's something that we really appreciate from our heart here at Maxwell head office.
And everyone else is going to begin that email in 1 hour. So you too, and then anyone watching are the very first ones to know about that huge news. And it was exciting to be able to deliver it and be able to be a part of it. So thank you, everyone. Yeah, it's exciting. It's really exciting. So thank you so much again for everyone for watching. Thank you so much to Michael, Dragic, and Brian for taking part in this. I hope you're having a wonderful rest of your day. If you have questions, reach out to myself or anyone a part of this directly, and we would be happy to answer your questions. Okay, see you guys.